Taehyung is back. The airport explodes as V arrives from Tokyo. ARMY goes hysterical. Hello ARMY. Welcome back to BTS Fans channel. This time, I don't want you to just watch this story. I want you to truly sink into it. Slowly. Deeper. As if you were right there, standing in the middle of that crowd, feeling every second pass, with your heart beating just a little faster than usual. Because that day was not just an ordinary day. Since morning, the airport already felt different. People arrived earlier than usual. Much earlier. Not for a flight. Not for a trip. But to wait. To wait for someone who hadn't even appeared yet, but whose presence could already be felt. ARMY began filling every corner, holding their phones, their cameras. Some even brought small banners, and some simply came with one simple hope. Maybe I can see him, even just for a moment. Time moved slowly. Every minute felt longer. Every sound of footsteps made heads turn instantly. Is that him? But not yet. Not time yet. And somehow, that was the magic of it. That anticipation slowly built emotion, uniting hundreds, even thousands, into one shared feeling. And then, without a big warning, without a dramatic announcement, a small change happened. Movement behind the glass doors. Someone walking, followed by staff. And in that 1 second, everyone just knew. That's him. No one needed to say it. No confirmation was needed. Because every heart recognized it instantly. And in the next second, the sound exploded. Taehyung. What started as a few voices quickly spread into a massive wave of sound, filling the entire space, shaking the air, and maybe shaking every heart there. And in the middle of it all, he appeared. Kim Taehyung. His steps were calm, unrushed, effortless, as if the chaos around him didn't break his rhythm. He walked with an aura that's hard to explain. Simple, yet powerful. Calm, yet captivating. His airport outfit might look ordinary to some, but on him, everything felt different. The way he carries himself, the way he blends style. It's not just fashion. It's presence. It's how one person can change the atmosphere just by being there. And as he walked closer, the screams grew louder. Some ARMY waved their hands higher. Some tried to record with trembling hands. And some, without realizing, tears started to fall. Not out of sadness, but because the feeling was too full. Too real. After waiting. After only seeing him through a screen. Finally, he was right there. Taehyung glanced around, looking toward the crowd. And in that small moment, time seemed to slow down. That soft smile appeared. Not wide. Not exaggerated. But enough. Enough to make thousands of hearts feel something warm. All at once, he gave a small wave. Gentle. Brief. But the impact was enormous. Some screamed even louder. Some covered their mouths in disbelief. And others just stood still, trying to store that moment in their memory forever. What's beautiful is, in the middle of all that overwhelming energy, Taehyung still looked Like himself. Not trying to be anything else. Not trying to control the moment. He just was. And maybe that's why people feel so connected to him. Because behind all the spotlight, behind all the fame, he still feels human. Real. Step by step, he kept walking, escorted by staff, through the secured path. But that distance didn't really separate anything. Because that connection doesn't need closeness. Just one glance, one smile, one brief moment, and it's already enough. Time moved too fast. Minutes that should feel ordinary became incredibly precious. And before anyone was truly ready, that moment started to fade. Taehyung walked further away, toward an area no longer accessible. But the screams didn't stop. People still called his name, still waved their hands, even as his figure slowly disappeared. As if no one wanted that moment to end. And when finally he was completely out of sight, the atmosphere slowly shifted. Still crowded, still noisy, but something felt different. A quiet feeling that couldn't be explained. Not because the sound was gone, but because everyone was processing what just happened. Some smiled to themselves, replaying videos on their phones. Some shared excited stories. Did he look this way? Did you see his smile? And some just stayed silent, taking a slow breath, with hearts still full, because they knew they had just experienced something simple, yet meaningful. Not a grand concert, not a huge performance, just an arrival at an airport. But somehow, it felt unforgettable. Maybe because this wasn't just about seeing an idol, but about feeling the presence of someone who has been part of their lives. Someone whose voice once comforted them, whose smile once made them feel better, whose presence is always missed. And that day, that longing was answered. ARMY. If you were there, in the middle of it all, what would you do? Would you scream his name as loud as you could? Or would you stay quiet and let that moment live in your heart as a memory only you truly understand? Write it down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, because there are still many stories, not just to watch, but to feel together. See you in the next story.